welcome to the show. Deepak Chopra said that people don't grow old. When they stop growing, they become old. And this show is all about learning new things, trying new things, fun, fitness, wellness, and inspiration, looking after our body and mind. And we also like to include topics that will be useful for people over 50. If you have anything you'd like to see on the show, please drop us a note through Facebook or through the website. Now today we have a new segment called Living Life with Christine.williams, our regular fitness segment, and we meet another one of the inspirational Silverblades, Ilme, who took up ice skating in her late 50s. And stick around to the end because we're going to see some inspiration from people who show us that life is too short to be serious. Welcome to our new segment, Living Life. This is where we look at all the things that seem to pop up after you've hit 50. This could be downsizing, decluttering, maybe grandparenting skills, or looking at your super and your financial options. Maybe you're wondering what to do with a property, or you're wondering whether you want to get into the property market to secure your financial future. Well, today we have one of the top 10 property specialists with us, Christine.williams. Now, Christine is the winner of Marketer of the Year 2017 and finalist 2018 of Women in Finance. She's an author and speaker. She's written 3 books, including Suddenly Single, 7 Smarter Ways to Design the Life That You Want. Christine's known as the go-to girl, and as a property strategist, she helps everyday people just like you to maximize their wealth through residential real estate. Hi Christine, welcome to the show. Fantastic to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, Cara. I'm really proud to be here, very happy, and I can't wait to share my expertise and information with your audience.
Yes, there's a lot of people at the moment sitting at home wondering where on earth their lives are going, where their financial futures are going. There's a lot of talk about whether property is a good investment or not. And this is your area of amazing expertise. So can you comment, is property a good investment still?
Well, definitely I'm happy to comment on all of that. But just before we go any further, I'm just going to explain to your audience that I have been involved in property for many decades, and I have a personal property portfolio on the eastern seaboard of Australia, and I'm a property strategist. Now that's my qualifications, but of course I am not a financial planner, I am not an accountant, or I am not a legal representative. But with my experience from a personal level, I sort of know the hints and tips around that. But when it comes to any of that type of advice, we really do need to speak to their advisor. But when it comes to property, I'm your girl, okay? So as what's happening with the property market at the moment? Well, we now obviously, this is in September 2020, and being a Victorian girl, we're what's called lockdown, and what's happening with property. And we've got a lot of pros and cons out there, but I'm very much of the mindset that property is doing extremely well. Not because it's a thought, but because actual fact and figures that are going through. And with coronavirus that's come through, we have had this natural movement and transition from capital cities to regional areas, and that goes for all states, by the way. And of course, there's been this transition of sea change and tree change, and people are loving working at home, and they're finding that they really don't have to travel into the CBD. So they're very comfortable either staying out in the outer suburbs, or they're actually changing to major regional areas in their state, whether or not that be a tree change or a sea change. And land values have just gone through the roof. They really and truly have. So there's been this major increase in regional areas. Yes, has there been a bit of a downturn in our Melbourne CBD? And I'm specifically talking about CBD apartments in all capital cities. yes, there has been. There's been a small retraction, anywhere between 5 and 10% in those areas. But when it comes to anywhere else, there's definitely an increase, and there hasn't been the retraction that economists have expected at all.
Great. So that's good news. Good news for a lot of us.
Good news. It's very good news.
So we're just going to look at a few different scenarios at the moment that some people watching might be going through. So if someone's got an existing investment property, but at the moment their cash flow is down and struggling a bit, what should they think about before selling their investment property?
Very good question, and I'm sure it's on there's a lot of people out there thinking that. Well, the first thing that you need to understand is the investment property really your cash flow problem? And this is where a lot of people forget that the investment property is technically a business, and you should be running it very secular, very individually to your personal or household expenses. So if we set the investment property up as a business, and we have obviously rental income coming in and expenses going out, obviously mortgage rates, property management fees, insurances, perhaps some maintenance, you may find that if you make it very secular and it's its own individual business, it's not causing the cash flow that you may think it's causing. Of course, we have to have our tenant paying rent, okay? If in actual fact the income from that investment property is tied up into your personal expenses, you do start to think that the investment property is actually costing you money, and it may not be. So to me, the first thing I believe is that you should segregate your personal expenses from your investment property expenses to see the true figure, the true cash flow. Now, if it is a negative cash flow and it is costing you and it is affecting your current lifestyle and it is affecting your household cash flow, the first thing I think you need to do is, yes, contact an agent to get an idea of what this is going to sell for, okay? And get 2 or 3 ideas. And understand a real estate agent's job is to get the listings. So they may up the price or the expectation a little bit for you to choose who they're going to go through. But get a fair idea about it. And then the next step from there, before you do anything, before you sign with anybody, I would actually contact your accountant. If you don't have an accountant, definitely speak to an accountant about what this investment property may attract the liability of capital gains tax. Now, capital gains tax shouldn't be a scary thing. It's not as scary or as encumbersome as what people think, but it may be a cost to you after you sell. So as long as you know what the property is worth, what potential expenses it's going to cost you after you sell it, i.e. your selling costs, your real estate costs, your advertising costs, getting the Section 32 and contracts ready, the legal requirements, and then the potential capital gains tax, and then you find out how much money you've got left over, will either give you the decision to keep or sell. And you might say that, I'm going to come out with $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and I'm actually going to tip it into my super or, perhaps get another income-bearing asset, and you'll know what to do with it then. But until you have that actual figure, I don't think you should make a decision.
And I know you have the 3-day sleep test too, so you want to make sure that it's a decision that people are really comfortable with as well.
I love the 3-day sleep test. I think as humans, we don't give our intuition enough credence or enough balance. You go somewhere and you think, gee, I don't know that I want to cross the road at this particular time, or no, I don't think I'll turn at that particular street. This is our intuition. Our gut's telling us things all the time. We're just humans, and we haven't been able to develop that skill. If you are about to make a decision, and that doesn't have to be about investing in property, it could be about buying a car, it could be a relationship, it could be, going and buying that particular outfit for some particular event. And if you feel like someone's talking you into it, but there's something going on in your head saying, no, it's not right, but you do it anyway because of outside influences, and then for the next 3 nights you toss and turn, your gut is telling you it was the wrong decision. For whatever reason, it was telling you. Now, if the next 3 nights you're awake because you're so excited because you can't wait to do what you're doing, that's very different. So it's the tossing and turning 3 nights in a row. Don't buy it. Don't do it. It's not the right decision. If it's 3 nights in a row, you're so excited you can't get enough of it, you can't wait, do it. It's the right decision. So it does play on people's minds, and I feel that it is just something that we should take the time to sit back and revisit, are we making the right decision for ourselves?
Okay, that's a fantastic tip. I think a lot of people will put that strategy into place straight away on all sorts of decisions that they've got to make. Wow, we can see why you were voted one of the top 10 property specialists in Australia.
Thank you, yes. And out of that, there were 10 of us, yes, and there were 2 women, and I was one of the women. So I'm very impressed about that. Thank you.
Well, we've tried to cover a few different scenarios today. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing expertise and your passion. We can see how passionate you are about this industry. And I think that it's stimulated a lot more questions from our viewers as well.
If your viewers write in or contact you, look, I'm very happy to answer those questions. And if you would like to welcome me back, I'm very happy to come back. Yes, I do have passion, Carol, and one of my mantras is what I call is helping people become financially fit and have financially fit families. And I'm so fortunate that I have clients that I'm now working with their adult children or their adult grandchildren. But thank you. I truly appreciate your time and allowing your viewers to say hi to me. Love it.
If you'd like more information about Christine or about the whole property area and property investment real estate, just jump on our website or jump on Facebook. So we hope to get to those questions for you. Stretch routine, and some of these stretches can be done seated. So I'm just going to show you just briefly how to adapt them. When it comes to the hamstring stretch, you can just put one foot forward, lean on your leg and lean forward, keeping a nice straight back, and you'll feel a stretch right up the back of the leg. So that's your hamstring stretch in a chair. When it comes to the calf stretch, all you need to do is really pull. You can be sitting upright. Really pull that toe right back. Pull it back as far as you can and you'll feel the stretch in the calf. So really focus on pulling your toe back. And this is another adaptation for the hip flexor stretch. If you feel comfortable, you can sit near the edge of the chair and you can just let one leg drop and push your bottom forward. So really push forward there so you feel the stretch there. So there's a few options for you. Enjoy the stretches. Let's do it. And welcome to 5-Minute Fitness. We're doing 5 minutes of stretching today, really getting us loosened up. To start with, we're going to work on the calf muscles. So with your feet straight ahead, just slide one foot back, just like you're on the railway track, so your feet are parallel. So nice straight legs for your stretch in your calf muscles. So just lean forward like this, just make sure your feet are straight and stretching out the calf muscle. Very important to do as we get older. The Achilles and the calves become tight and you definitely don't want to snap your Achilles. Now change to the other side. So feet about hip width apart, slide it straight back and feel that stretch in the calf muscle. So just take a few deep breaths and relax. And if you can do this stretch every day, that would be absolutely great. And bring it in. Now we're going to do another calf muscle stretch. So we just take the foot back a little bit and then we just bend the weights on the back leg. So this is a bent leg. This one is a deeper stretch. Gets the calf muscles underneath. So just hold it there. Keep the abs nice and tight. Take it up, take the other foot back, little bit, weight on the back leg, bend. There we go, bending it. 3 S's of fitness: stamina, strength, and suppleness. So we're working on our flexibility and suppleness. All right. Now we're going to do one that's really important because we sit down. It's your chest. These get short because we sit down so much. So just turn, put your hands on the chair, and you really want to squeeze your shoulder blades back. So squeeze the shoulder blades back so you get a really good stretch across the front there. So just squeeze it back. Oh, that feels good. Too much time on the computer. Feels great. Alright, now another one that's really important for your back is the hip flexors, because we sit down, these shorten, put stress on the lower back. So I'll show you a standing hip flexor stretch. So we take one foot back, the heel is lifted. Note the heel is lifted. Then we bend both legs, and you're going to tuck your pelvis under, squeeze your bottom, pull your abs in, and tilt your pelvis. And you should feel a stretch coming through the front here. Hip flexor stretch. Please try and do this hip flexor stretch or any other hip flexor stretch every day. It'll really help with your back hair. Alright, the other side. Take the foot back. Like I said, lift the heel. Make sure the heel is lifted. And bend and tilt. So squeeze the buttock under, suck the stomach in. Feel the stretch down the front of the leg. Oh yes, you're going to feel good after this. Alright, bring it in. Now we're going to do a hamstring stretch with a bit of calf. So take one foot forward, pull the toe back. So you're on the heel. Now stick your bottom out. Stick your bottom out. You can lean on the chair if you like. You should feel a stretch going right down your leg there. So just feel the stretch. Oh yes, this is really good. This one will help prevent some of that lower back pain as well. Come up, other foot forward, on the heel, toe up, stick the bottom out, stick the bottom out, stick it out, just hold it there. So every stretch should be held for at least 10 seconds. And we're only doing all these stretches once on each leg. But if you want to do another 5 minutes or so, just do it twice on each leg. Or go through the whole lot again. Put the video on again and go through the whole thing again. That's it. Nice and loose. So now we're lovely and flexible. Your body's going to thank you for it. 5 minutes of stretching a day and you won't believe the difference. And thanks for coming on the show.
And thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
Well, thank you for suggesting this to me when we bumped into each other. It's such an inspiring story about all these older people out there doing ice skating of all things. Like, who would have thought, like someone like yourself, you learnt it as a child when you're 10, 13, 14, whatever, and then you had a massive like 40-year break. And then you started ice skating again in your 50s, right?
Late 50s.
Late 50s. So what inspired you after all those years to take up ice skating again?
We were sitting in a cafe, my husband and myself, and he always grabs a newspaper. So I grabbed the local paper, I opened the first page, and there was an article about a group called the Silverblades. There was a picture of 3 older ladies, and I thought, wow, this looks amazing. This is something I've done in the past. Let's give it a go.
And were you a bit apprehensive about, getting any injuries or anything like that?
I was a little apprehensive, but being a snow skier and a rollerblader, I thought, why not? give it a go. Yeah.
And so what do you like so much about this particular group?
It's just amazing. I don't know how to describe how welcoming the group of Silverbladers were to me. As somebody that hadn't been along to something like this before, putting myself in a new situation was quite confronting, and having not done it for a long time, I didn't know what was going to happen and if I would totally embarrass myself. But I got some high skates and hopped onto the ice and did a trial, and we did a group lesson for the beginners to start with. Then we did a group lesson for everybody and loved it. I walked out of there with the biggest smile on my face, drove home, got changed, went to work, told my boss, this is it, I've found my new passion. So the following week, I bought myself my own skates that quickly. I thought, if I'm going to do this, let's do this properly. So, yep, hopped on the ice and it was totally different and just loved it.
So how often are you skating when you're not in lockdown?
Our group runs on a Wednesday morning for 1.5 hours. Then there are other times during the week, general skating sessions where you can go along and have a skate, being some weekdays and weekends. And I had started going on a Friday afternoon as well after I finished work.
And tell me about the shows.
Oh, the show's amazing. So I've done 2. So my first year, having, I was quite raw and everybody else had done a show before. We, had to get costumes and it was a buzz. It was just such a buzz in the dressing room, us oldies there putting on we had like a harem suit because we did Aladdin, and the choreography was just amazing. The crowd was amazing. We did a Wednesday show just for our group, but then the big show on the Saturday night, all the people and all the other skaters, and my husband was there and my best friend, and I think it just blew them away to see that I could actually get on the ice and skate. It was just amazing. It was actually one of the most amazing things I've done.
So how long do you think you're going to be skating for now?
There's no end date. I'll skate as long as my body allows me to.
Well, your passion is evident. So if there was somebody watching this today who's over 50, maybe over 60, they haven't skated ever, or maybe they did 40 years ago, what would your advice be to someone starting off?
Give it a go. Come along to our group. Please come along. You can do, we do try days regularly, of course, when we're not in COVID. And, we're just so welcoming. Everybody, I can't believe that I've become part of this amazing little community. My motto is never say never. I have a tattoo of that on my body to remind me every day. So yeah, never say never. You're never too old to try. We will help you. Everybody there will help you. We have skaters that have never been on the ice to retired champions. So yeah, we have a coach. The coach will help you. Everyone will help you. Come along. You won't regret it.
Well, that's a perfect time to finish. Just as I give it a go, get out there, get on the ice, and you might be there doing it for life.
Definitely, for life. However long life is, definitely.
Thanks for joining us today. Remember, if you'd like any information on anything you've seen on the show, fitness, ice skating, real estate, just jump on Facebook, jump on the website. And remember, all replays are on YouTube. Over 50, so what? Get on your feet and dance like no one is watching. Over to you, Silverblades. watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and we'll send you the latest TV episodes and videos. Like our Facebook page and please send us your comments, your stories and any inspiring people that you know. Over 50, so what?